Welcome back to the vlog. We're buying in for $1,000 at Capital Casino, playing our normal 1-3 game. First hand we end up playing, we have two jacks from middle position, open for a raise to $15. It's folded around to the player in the small blind who has a stack of $500. He actually makes the call for the 15, and we're going to go heads up to a flop with $33 in the center. Flop comes out ace high with all spades. So we got a flush draw and middle pair, I guess you might want to say, second pair. Player checks. We continue for $15. He puts in a very quick call. Once he does, I think he probably has an ace or a flush draw. Turn card comes as a 5 of diamonds. He checks again. I'm just going to try to get the showdown as cheaply as possible. I check it back. River card comes as another blank, 4 clubs. He checks again. I have a feeling I'm beat, but I don't think I can get him a fold. So I check back, and he shows ace 7 of hearts. I don't think he was folding for any bet there. Player opens from under the gun for $15. You get one caller out back, and here in the big blind, I'm going to defend with 10-7 suited. We go 3 ways to a flop. That comes out 8-7 deuce with 2 clubs. I check it over. Player under the gun checks it, and so does the player out back. Turn card comes is a 5 of hearts. It shouldn't really hit anyone. So I feel I have the best hand here. I bet $30 into a $45 pot, and I get a quick call from the player on my left. The other player folds out. I'm thinking he probably has 2 overs. Probably nothing much else. River comes is another 8. Shouldn't really change anything. Flush draw miss, straight draws miss. I should probably go for a bigger sizing representing either a made hand or a bluff. I go for 40. He's too good of a player to pay off this value bet. I should make it more look like a bluff. And if I check to him, he definitely would not bet a ace high type of hand. Anyway, after some thought, he gets away from it. I think I need to go bigger. Next hand, I have ace king from the low jack. Make it a raise to $15. Kick call from the player behind me, and again from the player on the button. So we're going to go 3 ways to a flop with $49 in the center. Flop comes out just really bad. Comes jack, 9, 8, all clubs. I do not have a club in my hand. I check it. It ends up getting checked around. Still don't like my hand at all. And when the turn card comes as a 5 of clubs, I am just giving up here. I check it again. It gets checked to the player on the button. He fires out for $25. Nothing you can do here. He either has a hand or he's just making a good bet and stealing the pot. I cannot defend, especially with a player behind me. I let it go. The other player lets it go, and the $25 bet takes this one down. We decided to do a $15 bomb pot. 7 out of the 9 players are partaking in this. So there's 105 in the middle. Flop comes out, queen of spades, 10 of diamonds, 5 of spades. It gets checked all the way to me. I'm on the button, and I haven't looked at my hand yet. But when I do, I discover that I have the jack, 3 of spades. So I got a flush draw, not much else. Everyone showed weakness. This is something I should be betting, so I bet $50, about half pot. And it ends up getting folded all the way back around to the player on my right, who says he cannot defend with his hand. So it's a small pot, but we win it with a $50 bet with our flush draw. Well, the next hand we play is a little bit better than jack 3. It's 2 aces. It's folded to me. I open for a raise to 15. It's folded back around to the player in the small blind. Looks like I'm going to get a walk until he raises to $30. When he does this, I think he has a big pocket pair, maybe something like kings. Well, he probably would re-raise with kings. More like queens, jacks, maybe tens. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and re-raise for value. I make it $95. Don't want to chase him away if he has a smaller pocket pair, but he ends up making the call rather quickly. So heads up, we head to the flop with $191 in the center. Flop comes out king, king, 4 with 2 diamonds. I do have the ace of diamonds, so I'm not really worried about any kind of hand like ace queen of diamonds or ace jack of diamonds. My opponent quickly checks it over to me. Um, I don't think he has pocket kings, of course. I think he would probably re-raise from that earlier. Still think he has like a large pocket pair, queens, jacks, maybe tens. So, how to extract value? Well, if I four bet, I have a lot of ace kings in my range, and I have a lot of big pocket pairs in my range. So the question is, would I get more action by betting this and having him maybe make a crying call? Or should I check it back and see if I can get him to think his pocket pair is better if a blank comes on the turn? I'm pretty sure he's only drawing a 2 out, so I decided a free card would be good. Hopefully we can get a blank on the turn, so I check it back. Dealer puts up a turn card, which is not a good one. It's the Queen of Hearts. Now, it is possible he just hit one of his 2 outs, but more likely is this is just another overcard to his pair, and he's not going to be willing to pay me off. So he quickly checks it over to me, and again, I'm going to just check this back. Hopefully a blank will come, and maybe he will pay off a small bet on the river. River card comes, is another queen. So now his pocket pair is most likely counterfeited. He quickly checks to me. I say, well, you either have quads or pocket jacks, and I don't think he's going to be calling any kind of bet with pocket jacks. He rolls over the pocket tens, and yeah, I screwed this one up. Lost value on it everywhere I could. Well, I screwed up playing the aces, so let's see if I can play the jacks correctly. A player from middle position opens for a raise to 15. Next player puts in the call for the 15, and here with 2 jacks, I'm going to raise to $75. I would also do this with a lot of hands I would be maybe squeezing with, like ace king, ace queen, ace jack, maybe occasionally a king queen type of hand. So might as well do it with my good hands too. The middle position player now shoves all in for 107. I'm not going to be going anywhere. The other player folds out. I put in the call, and we're going to go see a run out. Dealer puts up a flop that comes all diamonds, and our opponent shows that he has ace king with the ace of diamonds. Turn card's a blank, and the river card comes, and yeah, you guessed it, it's a king. So we lose this flip. On to the next hand. We have one limper from early position. I look down at ace 3 of spades from the low jack, so I'd make it 15. That does not thin the field. In fact, it just kind of makes that field get a little bit bigger. We end up getting 4 callers. So we're going to head 5 ways to this flop with $76 in the center. Well, the flop comes out ace high, which is good. And it also comes with an 8 and a 7, which is not great. It's checked to me. I decided I think I'm going to just see if I can get the show down as cheaply as possible. I do have 2 players behind me, so I decided to check it back. Turn card comes as a 10 of spades, makes the board very coordinated. I'm a little bit worried here. If someone fires, I'll probably just let this one go, but it ends up getting checked around again. So I think I'm good here, hoping for a blank on the river, and that's exactly what we get with the 2 of spades. The big blind bets out for $20. Seems like a blocker size bet. The initial limper puts in the call. A little bit worried about him. He might have an ace with a better kicker than me. But for $20, I can't fold this. I'm going to have to make the call. The other 2 players end up folding out, and the big blind turns over king 10 offsuit. The initial limper turns over king 10 suited, and of course my little ace ends up winning this little pot. Player from +1 opens for $16. I look down at 7-6 suited. He has about 1,000 in his stack. I decided to put in the call, even though this is kind of a weak call from middle position. He has a big enough stack. I want to take a crack at it. It's folded around to the player in the small blind who raises to 70. I played a lot of poker with this person. He probably has a very, very strong range. I'm thinking big pocket pairs, aces or kings, maybe ace king suited. I don't even know whether he'll do this with ace queen suited. I'm thinking he has a really big pocket pair. But he too has a large stack, a little over $1,000. Player to my right puts in the call, and I think that's just enough to entice me to play this hand. If I flop something, they wouldn't see it coming, and I can probably double through him if he has aces or better. Anyway, flop comes out 8-6-3 with all clubs. Not a great flop. I do have second pair. The initial raiser from the small blind now leads out for $110. Yeah, he definitely has an overpair. He might have one with a club in his hand. So my hand is pretty weak, and I'm probably just going to have to give this up. We'll see what happens with the other player. The other player does something interesting that you can't see on the camera is he kind of fumbled his chips and they fell into his lap. Now, usually when someone fumbles their chips, it's a sign of nervousness. Basically, I think they have a very strong hand that they just hit. Anyway, after collecting his chips, he does put in the call. Once he puts in the call, my decision is very, very easy. A player, again, who fumbles their chips and seems a little nervous, basically flopped a big hand and is worried about getting drawn out on or getting some extra value. So even if I hit a 6, I don't think I'll be any good here. He probably has some sort of flush. Anyway, I let it go, but I keep the camera rolling just to see a 6 of hearts come on the turn. I'm glad I wasn't in a very gambling mood, because if I would have caught this 6, I think it would have cost me a lot of money. Anyway, the player from the small blind now checks, and if the player to my right bets, I'm definitely sure that he has a flush here. Maybe even he played a hand like pocket eights and made a full house. Anyway, he bets out for 175. I think I would have made a crying call if I somehow got to this point, which I don't think I would ever do. And the player at the other end of the table decides that he's going to just go with his hand. He doesn't want to give any kind of free draw to someone who's maybe betting with a club, maybe a pocket pair with a club. So he ends up jamming all in. The player who bet the 175 puts in a very quick call, and we're going to see a river card which comes of 4 hearts. So I wouldn't have made a full house. The player in the small blind shows aces. The one to my right shows the ace 4 clubs. He flopped the nut flush and got max value out of this hand. Good for him. I ended up going card dead for about 45 minutes before I picked up 5-4 suited from the hijack. There's a player that opened for $20. I decided to put in the call. It's a little questionable, but I get 2 other players that came along, one from the blind and one from the limp. So the 4 of us are seeing a flop with 83 in. That comes out Jack 5 deuce with 1 diamond. Pretty good flop if no one bets. Here I thought about betting, but I decided just to check this back. Turn card comes as a good one. It's a deuce of hearts. Don't think anyone will have a deuce in their range. And they check to me again. I think I'm going to be betting here. Whether I had a pair or not, this is a good opportunity to steal this pot. Normally, if the field just shows weakness like this 2 times in a row, they don't have anything, and any kind of bet will take this down. So if I had nothing, I would be betting this. And then if I had a pair, like a pair of 5s, I'll also be betting for protection. So I put out a bet for $60, and everybody ends up folding. I then went card dead for about another 45 minutes, and after that, I just decided it's time to leave. I did end up winning today. A very big, big win for me, a whole $10. So ended up tipping out $10 and calling it an even day. But for the official record, I'm going to say I booked a $10 win. Hopefully next week's poker vlog will be a little bit more exciting than this one. It was pretty much card dead all week long, and this was the most exciting day, believe it or not. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate your support. And until next time, good luck at the tables, and we'll see you back here soon.